You're very welcome. Welcome to a world in revolt. You're welcome to it because it's the world you're about to inherit. Whether you like it or not, want it or not, the world is in now open revolt against the New World Order, Western, bankster, financial system and is establishing its own, as has been signalled on Friday. In an epic historic announcement, China announced that Brazil, Russia, India, China and South Africa have agreed on expansion of their closely allied economic and political bloc to include a host of new countries around the world, including, critically, Saudi Arabia, Argentina, and with plans to include in the future such as the United Arab Emirates and Egypt and Indonesia, Nigeria, Thailand and a score more countries from Latin America to Africa to the Far East. It's an epic moment, and I think it's almost unreported. So let me give you some more details before you cease to believe me, but it is true, and I'm bringing that news to you on The Beautiful Truth. This is Fintan Dunn reporting at 11 Eastern, 4 p.m. British Standard Time. Let's just check out the implications of this announcement. China, according to the Foreign Ministry on Friday, actively supports the start of the Brics expansion process and broadens Brics Plus cooperation. Now, there's a software code called C, a software language, and then there was a new version called C++, and then another one called C++, as they got better and better. Well, this is Brics going Brics Plus, and now Brics Plus Plus. Check them all out there. Those are countries all teleconferencing with each other there as they discuss the future of the world that doesn't include Western banker control. And thanks to Republic News for the original article summarising these facts. So, China did announce that the foreign ministers have reached this consensus on expansion. You see, this year, China holds the rotating presidency of the BRICS bloc, and its foreign minister also said China actively supports the expansion of the group. The China announcement comes just a day after Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov said that Saudi Arabia and Argentina have expressed a desire to join the BRICS group. I say the integration of a much broader BRICS bloc is already well underway. The BRICS foreign ministers held a meeting on May 19th, just ahead of these developments, which included by formal invitation foreign ministers of Argentina, Egypt, Indonesia, United Arab Emirates, Kazakhstan, Saudi Arabia, Nigeria, Senegal and Thailand attending a BRICS foreign ministers meeting. That political integration is complemented by financial integration, which is sidelining the IMF World Bank. The BRICS new Development Bank, NDB, has already enrolled Bangladesh, the United Arab Emirates, Egypt and Uruguay as its official members. And every time there's a new country mentioned there, I'm putting it in bold. If it's not been mentioned before, it's just not bolded. So all those countries are now countries part of this alliance. Now, the commodities muscle of the group is strengthening, you see, and that's key, as you know, to financial power, and why the pricing of oil in rubles was an early sign of this huge shift. And Lavrov told TASS news agency that oil-rich Arab world countries have also shown interest. This is other than the United Arab Emirates and the Saudis. There are others just also waiting to join. And to establish partner relationships with the Shanghai Cooperation Organization, the SCO, which includes India, Russia, Pakistan, Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan, Tajikistan and Uzbekistan. And the trading integration is also cementing globally in this BRICS group. In February, Brazil became the latest member of Beijing's Belt and Road Initiative, its overseas investment program. The Belt and Road now includes 21 countries in Latin America and the Caribbean, with Argentina its latest economic partner in the region to date. China has invited Argentina to attend the upcoming summit of the BRICS group in June, and to become a member of the new development bank, the Shanghai-based multilateral bank that aims to be an alternative to traditional financial institutions like the IMF and World Bank. Last year, Bangladesh and the United Arab Emirates joined the NDB, and Egypt and Uruguay are approved to join the financial institution. They're waving goodbye to the whole IMF debt trap. The rinse recycle debt trap, which the West has been playing for the last 30, 40 years, bleeding the third world. And I think that's just so signal. That is Alberto Fernandez, the president of Argentina, there on a visit to Beijing, and that's just the counterpointing between an obvious South American face and Beijing should start to bring home to you the global character and scope of this, because South America is now forging alliances, and that's Uruguay, Brazil and Argentina, right, in South America, forging alliances with Africa, where there are many nations allied with South Africa and other independent nations, and the East via the SADC, Mercosur, BIMSTEC, China, ASEAN, and the EAEU. There is a global, colourful network of interconnecting, trading, political and cultural and social institutions developing. And by comparison to that new and broad global bloc, we have the existing G20, which includes some of these countries, but countries that aren't in the new bloc, well, those G countries are limited to Canada, France, Germany, Italy, Japan, Republic of Korea, Mexico, Turkey, which is rather wobbly, the UK, the US. It's a new world that's emerging here, folks. Meanwhile, just in an interesting counterpoint to all this, the Saudis have recently created their own National Academy of Military Industry, which will be its own independent military-industrial complex, autonomous from foreign supplies. Another signal moment of independence as we enter a period when the Ukraine war is not exactly going according to plan, is it? No. It's a symptom of this broader financial revolt now. So when it comes to geoeconomic, political and financial software, NWO- is a proprietary bankster platform, and Brics++, I think, is the emerging open source alternative, which is emerging. And it's emerging whether the New World Order likes it or not. With Russian forces in command now of the suburbs of Severodonetsk, the residential areas there, and Ukrainian forces having retreated. And that retreat happened an awful lot faster than a similar situation in Mariupol. So it's not going well at all on the ground, and that has been reflected in increasing political instability in the capital, in Kiev, as well, as different factions now start to eye each other and figure out who's going to be in control after all this collapses. The phony nature of the Ukraine war becoming ever more apparent now, and it always was phony, because not just because Ukraine couldn't possibly defeat Russia in this conflict, but because Russia and China in particular have spent the last 20 years developing military capabilities which just far surpass anything the West has by way of defence or counter. You can't win a war when you haven't got air cover. They don't have air supremacy, NATO. So the idea they could ever win that war is just nonsense. So that the phoniness of that is about to be revealed. The hollowness of all that money poured into weapons system, which NATO is finding when they're deployed, doesn't actually work. That is the legacy of the last 20 years, is that we find out that the people who have led the West have mostly been a bunch of, hucksters, thieves, and that all the money they were squirreling away for our retirement, and all the money they were investing wisely in our defence, and all of the money they're investing in these new energy systems that were going to transform our world, may have been frittered away. And the problem is that if these guys are exiting, then our house of cards has got like narrower foundations, I think you'd agree. And that emerging alliance is a multipolar alliance, which I don't think anybody can dominate, because it spans, as you see, all the way from Argentina to the Far East, by way of Africa, whichever way you want to go around the globe. And it is in many ways a response to the fateful, this new era now is a response to the fateful 9/11 challenge, which was thrown down, and which was quickly followed by certainly a decade of full-on US aggression globally. Yeah, that period I think has ended. And the world has responded militarily and geopolitically, as you see now. Of the two, the more important is what's just happened geopolitically and geofinancially here. And yet, you're not being told this. Just shows you how hollow many of the media sources that we rely on for awareness of what's happening geopolitically are, in fact. Not hard to find this information, I know many are aware of, but I don't know anybody who's putting it together as obviously as I have there now, and as credit to Republic World, who picked up on this, and to Zaini Majid, who authored the original story that pulled the facts together so well, I decided to use that as a basis for informing you as to these huge geopolitical developments and their significance. So, we're going to have financial change here, because all of these people exiting the current IMF, World Bank, G7 cartel system has implications for the cartel. And I hope those implications are that we're going to get some justice here. We'll see. Not easily, I'm sure. But anyway, the battle to get that is part of what you'll also find here on The Beautiful Truth. But I'll leave it for now with these huge geopolitical developments and a new dawn that they herald. Because after a little bit of financial dislocation, etc., we'll finally have the boot off our back. We'll finally have the around our throats gone. Because our betters in the West, they think that a future where everyone's eating grubs and where that everyone is a lot less everyone than there is now is the way to go. They have been holding back our cultural, technological, and political and social and every other development. They have been holding it back. And now enough of the world has gained enough strength and enough political muscle and power and financial backing to break free. And it's turning into a flood. Great news. Great news. Hopefully before long I won't be the only one saying it. But in the meantime, if you do want to clue other people into what's really going on, perhaps you could spread the word, subscribe yourself, like, anything, really, or join me soon again on The Beautiful Truth, where I look forward to you joining me. Take care and see you soon.